For those of you who aren't aware, anime is animation from Japan. Just last night, I had to have an awkward conversation about this with an Uber driver who was picking me up after several hours of doing adult things with adult people. And I was feeling a little bit dizzy. And it's 1:30 in the morning, and the Uber driver's like, "What's going on at that convention over there?" I'm like, "Oh, it's called an anime convention." "Really?" Man, I always thought anime was just a name. I go, "I get it." It's like, "Yeah, but it's a Japanese animation and stuff like that." So what kind of people go to anime conventions? I'm like, people who like Japanese animation, so like, for the most part. And she goes, "Oh yeah." So you see all sorts of different type of people there, like anyone you can possibly imagine is there. Anybody is there. Is Pokemon an anime? You go, actually, yeah, it is. There's actually quite a few anime that people didn't even realize were anime when they first started watching it. Like I actually work on a show that a lot of people didn't even know was anime when they were first starting to watch it. It was called Dragon Ball. She goes, "Dragon Ball Z? No way. You do not work on Dragon Ball Z." I go, "Yeah, I do. I'm a voice actor for it." She goes, "Oh man, hold on a minute. And we're driving, and she gets out her phone, and it's connected to her car audio. And it's like, boo, boo. I'm like, "Who are you calling at 1:30 in the morning?" She goes, "I'm calling my daughter. I think she watches that show." It's like, "Oh, don't do that. Like, you don't have to." It's like, "Oh, I don't mind. She's 18. She never goes to sleep." And I go, no. I mean, I don't think you're understanding here. It's late. I'm dizzy, and I just want to kind of get back. Hold on. I'm gonna get her. It's still ringing. It said finally someone picks up. "Hello." She goes, "Yeah, put Deandra on the phone right now." He goes, "Hold on." And then we're just waiting, and the whole time we're waiting, I'm getting more nervous. I'm like, I don't want to talk to anybody right now. Like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to be put on the spot like that. But we're waiting a long time. I go, "It's really not necessary. Like, you can just, why don't you just, let's not even do this right now at all, please." And finally the guy comes back, "Yeah, she don't want to talk to you right now. She's busy right now." She's like, "Get her ass on the phone right now." He goes, "Hold on, I'll ask her one more time." He comes back like, "Yeah, she's tired. She doesn't want to talk." She's like, "All right." And so she hangs up, and I'm like, "Oh, thank goodness I don't have to have an awkward conversation in the backseat of a car with somebody that I don't even know about a show that she may or may not even hear about." So then she goes, "Hold on a minute." And then she calls again. I'm like, "She called her daughter back?" I was like, "Hey, don't wake her up. She's obviously not interested." Someone picks up like, "Hello?" She goes, "Danielle, do you know that show Dragon Balls?" She goes, "Yeah, that weird Japanese show or something." She goes, yeah. "Well, call Deandra and tell her to wake up. Get her ass out of bed. She gotta talk to somebody." I'm like, "Hey, please stop. Like, don't do any of this." Fortunately, it ended without me having to talk to anybody, but my God, that was one of the weirdest situations because I'm kind of off in space anyway. And it had already been a weird night because I was hanging out with a group of people, and one guy was sitting at the table with us, and he was drinking kind of heavily because apparently he had an abscessed tooth or something. And his tooth was hurting so badly, they're like, "Hey, you need to just like relax." He hadn't slept in like 2 or 3 days. So as he decided he was getting up to leave, and he got up and he walked towards the door, and right before he left, I said, "Hey man, I know you're in a lot of pain, and I know it's the weekend, and you probably can't get to the dentist. Like, I'm gonna be seeing my brother, who we were hanging out with as well, brother-in-law tomorrow." That's today. "And if your tooth really still hurts and you can't sleep and you're not getting any sort of, like, I have some pain pills that my doctor gave me for my neck recently that might hold you over until you can get to somebody on Monday." And then he looks at us, he's standing in the hallway, he looks at us, and he goes, and he like hits his head like on a wall, and then he slides down the wall, and he's laying on the ground, like passed out. And all of us are just sitting there at the table, and a few seconds goes by before all of us like, did this just really happen? Because he had like almost had a smile on his face the whole time. He looked like a noodle that had just like noodled his way, like hit the wall, and then it went straight down to the ground. All of a sudden, all of us at once were like, oh my God, and we went over and helped him, and then he pops up, in a very Georgian sort of way, I imagine, just goes, man, I was just taking a little nap. Okay, cool, so it was a weird night, all in all. I did go to a restaurant called Sweet Auburn, which was freaking awesome, by the way, I highly recommend it. And, sorry, I'm Chris Sabat, I'm a voice actor in Dallas, Texas. In 1998, I was going to school at the University of North Texas, and I got a page from a friend of mine that said, hey, well, it didn't say anything, it just said a phone number, because a pager was this huge device you had to carry that gave you no information other than numbers. You had to find a payphone or someone who had it, well, no one had a cell phone then, so you just had to find a phone to call that person back. And she said, hey, you do voices and stuff, right? I'm like, well, I was in radio and stuff like that, so I guess, yeah. She goes, well, I work for a little company. It's a tiny company. We work on this Japanese cartoon, and we're trying to kind of cast some people in it. So I went out and auditioned for this little tiny animation company. And, you know, at that time, I walked in, and it's just this really crude setup with just the junkiest, weirdest equipment all over the table, and all these wires everywhere. There was, I joked that maybe it was like a toaster plugged into a microwave, plugged into, you know, plugged into this like wheel that a monkey had to like turn or whatever to record it. And I recorded an audition, and then I got this role of Yamcha in this direct to, you know, movie, like a direct to VHS thing in this video called Sleeping Princess and Devil's Castle. And that was my very first anime role. I went in there, recorded it, and I was like, this is the weirdest thing. But at the same time, I loved it, and I felt like I was sort of connected with it in some weird way. I really felt like I understood how to do it. And about a month later, they called and said, hey, we're a company called Funimation. There's like 8 of us, and we're looking for somebody to help us cast and direct this series called Dragon Ball Z. And, you know, at the time, I had not heard of it, and there was no internet to look anything up, and I had no friends who were into anime that could like tell me in any sort of way what it was. And they offered me $20,000 in 1998 to join their company and to be on staff to direct this. So I took it. I'm like, what else am I going to do? I had 1 semester left in college, and I had to have this very difficult decision of, should I finish that last semester and then have a piece of paper that tells me I know how to do this, or should I just take this job offer right now and just do it? And it was a huge risk, and my parents were so upset at me. But I took it, and at that point we started casting this show called Dragon Ball Z that you guys are familiar with, right? And so there weren't, at that time, Funimation had zero money, like no money, because they weren't making a lot of money on Dragon Ball Z at all back in 1998. People, like, the only people who were watching Dragon Ball on TV, because it ran at 5 o'clock in the morning, they ran some metrics on it. The most popular demographic was people 65 and up. Like, because they were old, I mean, it was only the people that were old enough to actually want to get up at that time in the morning that were actually watching Dragon Ball. I have no idea what they were, like, what they thought they were watching, but a lot of geriatrics who were no longer with us probably were watching that show 15 years ago. There weren't a lot of actors to choose from because we didn't have that much money to offer people. So as we were, I went to college campuses and put ads in the paper because we were having this huge cattle call audition for this Dragon Ball Z show. And at the time we were trying to match these Canadian voices. I know there was a moment in your lives, those of you who watch Dragon Ball Z, when you turned on the TV and you're like, time to watch me some Dragon Balls, and then you turned it on and like, all the voices are completely different, and you're like, what the hell just happened to my life? Like it's like your anime rug got pulled out from underneath you, but like you couldn't stop watching it because you were so emotionally invested in the show that you're like, all right, I guess I have to keep watching it even though nobody sounds the same as they used to, like yesterday. So when we were casting this, we were trying to copy all these Canadian voices, and I guess I did a better job at copying some of these Canadian voices and some of the other actors, so they gave me the role of Vegeta and Piccolo and Yamcha and Mr. Popo and Kami and all the dragons and Gaz and Mez and Raccoon and Jace and Burter and Zarbon, and the list goes on because we just didn't have any people. So I'm bringing that up because a lot of people said, how is it that you were the director, right? Did you cast yourself and all that? And the only roles I ended up casting myself specifically in were the roles where someone else had played it and then they just left town for whatever reason. Like, I took over Mr. Popo because the guy who was playing Mr. Popo, his name was Chris Kaysen, he got a job to go touring on some like children's program or something like that, and we had to find a replacement for him, and I could kind of mimic it, so I just went ahead and started doing it. And so there were other characters, like Corin was done by a different person, then he ended up going on a comedy tour or something, and I was just left holding the bag because we were racing to get that show on television at the time. So yeah, I ended up with all these roles. There's Vegeta, he's this angry guy with a sort of a hemorrhoid problem. He's always angry about everything. And I can imagine why he would be, because the person who bests him in every way all the time is essentially just a bad guy with a head injury who's frankly a very selfish guy. Goku is a really selfish hero. If you think about it, that guy puts himself and all of his friends in a lot of danger for no other reason than, I think I'd like to fight a strong person today. Like, instead of, if they had listened to Vegeta, Dragon Ball Z would be over in like 20 episodes, and they'd be just all chilling, and maybe Trunks wouldn't even have happened. But, or maybe lots of Trunks would have happened. Trunks and shorts and like knickers and whatever other pant names they could come up with. Capris would be his homosexual son. That wouldn't have gone over very well because this was the 90s and the late 80s and 90s when we just weren't sensitive to any of that stuff. Like, we just put, servant woman, bring me a drying cloth once. And Vegeta can be as sexist as he wants because he's an alien. And Mr. Popo, there was no excuse for that. We didn't even know what to do with that. And then the other huge, like, kind of accidentally racist thing that I did on that show was we had this guy come in to play this character named Killa. Do you guys remember Killa by any chance? He was in this, like, tournament, like Otherworld tournament saga type thing. It was when they had the Battle Royale on Android 18 and, like, the masked man, like, we're all fighting. There was this character named Killa, and he was a totally throwaway character. He basically was a Krillin character at that point because his job was basically just to tell the audience what was happening in any scene. And the guy came in to play. It was the same, David Clark. He was the same guy who played Cell. And like, he came in and he went to go read his first line. And he goes, "Hey there, some of that, blah 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 17." He messed up the line, and that was like, holy crap, that'd be really funny if he just spoke kind of in gibberish and you never understood it. Kind of like Kenny from South Park, like you just never know what he's supposed to be saying, but like people understand him even though. And I just didn't realize how kind of insensitive that sort of was, and how rare it was that there was actually like a black character in Dragon Ball, and how like I could have used that to I mean, of course, we couldn't find any black guys to work on Dragon Ball Z back in those days, because we couldn't find anybody to work on that show back in those days. Because Funimation just didn't have a lot of money, and Dragon Ball Z wasn't like, I already explained that before. And then the scariest moment, like when I finally settled in as to how insensitive that was, some guy came up to me and goes, "Hey man, you the voice of Killer?" I go, "No, it's him." And he goes, "Man, I love that character," so I felt a little bit better about it. Anyhow, so I worked on a billion characters. I also played Piccolo. He's the big green guy with the antennas who basically, as I've said many times, just treats Gohan like a puppy. Like, "Gohan, come here. All right, good, Gohan. Now go, Gohan, get out of here. Stay. Gohan, stay right there." I'm gonna do. Like, he just kind of gave Gohan stage directions most of the time. "Do No, do it, but stay, and now go. And then Yamcha, I still retain that role, and boy, that guy just got cooler and cooler as the series went on. He's so bad. He's so bad. By the end, I used to joke that he was just literally waiting with Chi-Chi when Goku had the heart virus and he's like dying and stuff like that. And I think he was like giving him a little bit more of the like heart virus just in the hopes that Goku would die, so maybe he could date Chi-Chi. It's his last hope. And someone brought up something interesting, speaking of Yamcha recently. You know the whole Vegeta Batman shirt with the yellow pants and stuff? Someone told me recently that it's a fan theory, and it's a good fan theory, that it's quite possible that those were Yamcha's clothes. Because I guess where else would, like, how else would Bulma have any men's clothes just sitting around her house, like, for unexpected guests? Yamcha would have been the last guy to maybe stay the night or something, and so I imagine those might have been his clothes. That's just something to think about. I don't see, anyway, it makes a lot of sense if you think about it. It's Yamcha and he's lame. I played this guy Riku, and he's a really big guy, and every time I played him, I made him a tiny bit dumber. Until it got so dumb, I'm like, this is almost offensive, so I need to report back it. And then Jace is another character I play. He's basically like Yamcha with an accent, you know, mate. And if you listen carefully when he dies, I put, "Oi!" Yeah, most people don't know that. That was my, I figured when Australians die, that's what they say. So yeah, we spent a billion years working on that show. When that was done, we started working on another show that was really, really dear to, I think, a lot of you, and it was a great show for me to work on. It was called Yu Yu Hakusho. And that show still holds a lot of weight with people. Like someone came up to me today and said it perfectly, and they pulled up like a Dragon Ball Z print, and they pulled up like the Yu Yu Hakusho print, and they go, "This is 50% of my childhood, and this is the other 50% right here." Yeah. And it might have been you actually. Anyway, sorry. And Kumar, he had the most awesome attack sound, and it was "Sword get longer." Which, if you think about it, I mean, I'm sure you guys are just tired of hearing my voice and everything. Anyway, like Kumar's voice is just basically a dumb Vegeta voice with no accent. Because Vegeta's right here, and all you have to do is make it dumber. But I loved working on that show. Justin Cook was the director. He also played Yusuke, and I should give him a round of applause. Justin Cook is now the head of all production at Funimation. Like, he's the head of everything out there, and he's awesome because he really does care about this stuff. Another show that Justin directed is a show that people still wave in my face all the time. And it's funny because it is the most off character that I've ever played. And it's this really tall dude with really beautiful hair, and he wears women's clothing. And his name is Ayami from a show called Fruits Basket. I don't know how many of you guys have seen that, but maybe you have. And Ayami's basically just like Vegeta. It's the same character. Or maybe actually the opposite of Vegeta, like the polar opposite. Like, Vegeta is like short, like permanently angry and kills people with his hands, and Ayami is like tall, crossdresser, kisses boys and stuff like that. So, and but that was actually one of the, believe it or not, one of the hardest roles I ever had to play, because he just talks so fast. And usually fast talking people usually go to Todd Habercorn, because no one can talk faster than Todd Habercorn. He is the fastest talker in all existence. After that, things just started rolling in at Funimation, so much different stuff. I also played, one of my favorite roles is the strong-armed alchemist, Alex Louisiana. And I love him, he's awesome. He was a really great character to play. I loved him in Brotherhood because A, there was more of him, and B, you got to meet his family, and his sister was like such an awesome thing. Then he had his epic bro fist time with this dude, like with a beard, he's like, "What do you say?" And yeah, I loved playing him. The only thing that sucked about him is that he just sort of disappears from the series He just doesn't wear a shirt. Doesn't even worry about the shirt. It's like, I'm gonna wear a suit jacket and my military costume, but no shirt on. How rad would that be if our U.S. military allowed our soldiers to do that? It's like, no shirt, man. No shirt today. It'd be pretty sweet. It'd sparkle a lot more. Let's see. Then, as I said, it just kept going. I was then cast as Zorro in a show called One Piece. And I cannot believe I'm still recording on that show, and may be recording on that show for the rest of my life. It's seriously never ending. And the more I get to know Zorro, the more I realize how similar we are in some ways. Mostly in just one way, and it's that the fact that he has no sense of direction at all. And I literally have none. If the GPS tells me to go right off the cliff, I would probably do it. Because GPS don't lie, and I have no sense of direction at all. But that show's just getting better and better. And Zorro, I would do an impression of his voice, except he's just kind of really an angrier version of just my voice. He just sits around going, Luffy, or Three Sword Style, Oni, Giri, Horse, Sword, Bull character. He always makes up, it seems like he has dice and he just makes up his attacks. Let's see. And then it just, then it starts getting really blurry. I played a guy in this adorable show about a dude who could kill people with his camera. Speedgrapher, which is a crazy show. I loved working on that though, partially because it was just a great show, and partially because the director was Chris Bevins, he directed Michiko and Hachin and a bunch of other stuff that you would know. We just took forever to dub it. It took us 6 months. So normally it would only take a month, but we just took our sweet time and just sat around doing nothing half the time. So that was pretty fun. I love another show I really love is Sergeant Frog. I love Giroro in that show. I'm going to forget a bunch of things, so you might have to remind me of some of these things as we go along. I'm just going to end up rambling incoherently for a really long time, so I'm going to maybe open it up to some questions if you guys are interested. Yes.
Yes, Chris. I have a quick two-parter, or as quick as my
mouth. I can answer the first part before you can ask it. Yes, I know the Team 4-star guys. Oh, I'm joking.
Yeah. Well, anyway, as quick as my mouth will translate what my brain is thinking, anyway. And then I will be quiet for the rest of this panel, unless there's a lull in there, and I think of another question.
Sure.
All right.
So what is it?
Well, the first part is this just came to me this morning. I was thinking of a way, if you ever need any extra money or you're thinking about a retirement plan, it relates to the.
If you want extra money in a retirement plan, don't be an actor. That's for sure.
Yeah. Well, I just thought of something that you could do, and
you just thought of a business idea for me. I like this.
Yeah.
He just thought of something I can do.
Yeah. It relates to the 9,000.
It relates to the 9,000 thing. Okay.
Yeah. See, I was thinking that.
I can go to conventions, and sign autographs.
Well, yeah, you do that too. But I was thinking that anytime you go to these conventions or wherever, and that 9,000 question comes up, tell them this, that you'll only answer it if they give you a nickel, and just get you a big jug and put the 9,000 question on there.
Nickel jar.
Yeah, and just save all those nickels.
I love saying that so much. It's just not even worth the nickel. I'd rather just get it over with instead of just taking the nickel.
Yeah, but I just thought about it. But
you can't argue with them on that. Oh man, maybe a different time. I'm surprised the lady in the Uber last night didn't ask me to do it.
Yeah. But I was just thinking that if you ever did that though, you'd be a zillionaire.
I would be a zillionaire.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, because that question comes up quite a lot.
Sextillionnare.
Yeah.
Which is a man with 10 to the 60th power worth of money, by the way.
Because when you think about it, a nickel isn't much. You can't. What can you buy with a nickel? I mean, well, yeah, there you go. But if you have a lot of nickels, then maybe there'd be a lot of money.
Oh my gosh, I never thought about that.
Yeah.
So wait, you're saying you could get a lot of nickels together and trade it in for other monies?
Yeah, no, it's revolutionary. Yeah.
Sir, you must be an economics major.
No.
This is amazing. You need to do a seminar on this. Turning nickels into other money. No, I understand though. Like, I do get to say that phrase quite a bit. It's been backing off a little bit. I'm hoping that people start asking me to say my Bulma instead, or don't hurt my Bulma! I love Battle of Gods. What a great film. And Resurrection F, have you all seen it? Yeah! Spoiler, everybody dies. Sorry. It's such a, like, I love working on those. Like, so amazing to be working. Like, imagine if you've been, like, you like your job, except you do the same exact thing every day. Like, you do the same, and then finally, someone 15 years into your job goes, hey, here's the same sort of thing you do with the same sort of tools, except it's brand new, and it feels so awesome to work on those movies. And I really hope, because I know that'll be another question, that we can announce more stuff about Super sometime soon, because that looks like an awesome show. Did you have a second part to that?
Yes, my second question is
if you got dollars, and you got a lot of them, you could trade it. I'm joking.
No, it goes on. It's a completely different tangent. It concerns one of Piccolo's more stranger powers.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you remember doing the Saiyan arc? There's like, after Gohan first turns into his big ape form, and then he turns back, and then he's all naked, and then Piccolo's like, I can't very well have you running around naked, something like that, and then he's like, that'll fix you for now, and then he creates clothes for Gohan.
Yeah.
So my question is,
why didn't Piccolo open a boutique? Just like,
well, your dad, you know how their clothes get torn up all the time. How come he doesn't use that power to fix his clothes and stuff?
yeah, he should just walk around the battlefield. God, I did actually talk. God, that would be a really funny idea to pitch to the guys at Bandai Namco. It's like, your character's a healer, but he also heals your clothes. Like, Piccolo, you could walk around to other people and change their clothes for them. God, that would be awesome.
Yep.
I think that's a really brilliant idea. Piccolo had a new technique in Resurrection F, which is his whole new defibrillator hand thing that he did on Gohan as well. It's like this, stand back everyone. And then he just starts Gohan's heart again. That was pretty cool. The tiny little special beam cannon to the heart. Yes.
Yes, from DXD, the dragon that you do.
Yeah. D-Drake.
Could you do a little quick thing? Well, he's arguing about something with Shenron.
Oh, D-Drake arguing. Okay, D-Drake from High School DxD arguing with Shenron from Dragon Ball.
Yes.
Okay. Let's see. It's kind of hard because the dragons are kind of usually pitched down, but you'll just have to imagine this. Betsy, you have collected all the Dragon Balls. Make your wish. Boost! I'm sorry, what? Boost! This boost is not within my power because I have no idea what you're saying. Boost! You're going to have to stop it with the boost. I'm giving you 2 more tries. Boost! This is getting very old. Seriously, do you have a wish that you'd like to be granted? Explosion! That I can do. That show, High School DxD, that's a crazy show.
Oh yeah.
That's a naughty show too.
Oh yeah.
Yes, I want to go to some people in the back here, in the middle. Yes.
I have a question.
Yes.
Could you answer this in Vegeta's voice? How does it feel having your character not be the hero you could have been? Everything is in that moment, how does it feel having your character just not important at that point, but he had it in the palm of his hands?
It would be, oh, come on, not again. Because that's how I felt. I felt felt like when I first thought of, I mean, how many people in here have not seen Resurrection F who plan to? Okay, sorry. It doesn't matter. Let's just say that I expected it to go a different way, and I was hoping it would go a slightly different way, and it didn't. But still, it was beautiful because I think the problem is if you let Vegeta be the winner, he'll take it too far. And Vegeta and Goku's relationship, I think, is the key of all of Dragon Ball Z. It's almost like the X-Files. Any of you guys ever watch any of that? Like, it's an old show. Your parents probably watch it. And they're about to reboot it, I think. So, like, there were two main characters, Scully and Mulder. And if those two ever made out or something like that, the show would be over with. Like, same with Goku and Vegeta. If they ever make out, the show. That's not how much of a terrible analogy that actually is. Like, if they ever did made out, the show would be completely over with. Like, Piccolo would walk in, I'm like, oh my god! He wishes upon the dragon, please let me unsee that. Your kisses are so tender, Kakarot. Oh, and that was the name of this panel, so like, it's over now, right? Like, tender moments between Vegeta and Goku. Oh, don't disappear on me again, baby. Anyway, sorry. Yes, you in the hand. No. I'll talk to him. Grow up! Show up at conventions. Do I need to talk to him right now? Sure, for a second or two. Okay. What's his name? I can't do this for anyone else, by the way. But he's been asking me for like 2 days now, so I think I'm kind of indentured at this point. His name is Braden? Yeah. How old is he? He's like 13? You're like 13, man. I'm joking. That's Braden? Yeah. He might not answer.
Leave a message.
Braden! Quickly, it's me, Vegeta, Prince of all Saiyans. I need your help finding all the Dragon Balls. I put them in my coat closet somewhere, in a box. And I need your help deciphering what box it might be in. There's thousands of them. Have you seen how big Capsule Corp is? Anyhow, look, I've been training with your brother all weekend. It's been awesome. We've been rubbing butter all over our bodies. In a very mature way that you won't understand until you're like 20. So I will talk to you later, and grow up! Bye! Actually, I'm really sorry if Braden gets into his mind that he's supposed to rub butter on his body. Maybe that's what people do. Actually, I'm going to tell you, based on that story, kind of a tangent, is just a really funny story where I was sitting, I was like the older brother